Good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television. I'm Sachin Ratnayaka. Let's look at the headlines first. New Kalani Bridge at Paliagoda declared open. Government taxes a U-turn on chemical fertilizer ban. News in detail. Government today announced that the ban on the import of chemical fertilizer and agrochemicals was ended and the private sector will be allowed to import the chemical fertilizer with effect from today. Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage made this revelation this morning, joining with Media Minister Dala Salaha Peruma at the weekly Cabinet Media briefing virtually.
අපි කවුරුත් දන්නවා 2021 අප්‍රේල් මාසේ 26 වෙනිදා අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා විසින් කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට පත්‍රිකාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කරා හරිත කෘෂි කර්මාන්තයක් කරා රට යොමු කිරීමට. ඒ අනුව ඒ කැබිනට් තීන්දුවට අනුව රසායනික පොහොර, ඒ වගේම පලිබෝධනාශක, ඒ වගේම දිලිරනාශක, වල්නාශක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් රසායනික ආනයනය කිරීම තහනම් කිරීම සඳහා ගැසට් පත්‍රයකුත් ඒ සමගම නිකුත් කෙරුණා. අද වෙනකොටම හරියටම පුරා මාස 7කට දින 2ක් අඩුයි මේ වෙනකොට මේ තීන්දුව අරගෙන ඒ සියලු අභියෝග හමුවේ මේ පරිසර හතකාමී කෘෂි කර්මාන්තයට ගොවීන් මේ මහකන්නේ හෙක්ටයාර් ලක්ෂ 8ක් වගා කරන්න තිබුණත් අද වෙනකොට 6,50,000ක් ගොවි බිමේ වැඩ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කරලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් ජනතාවට සංවේදී ආණ්ඩුවක් හැටියට අපි ඊයේ තීන්දුව කරා අපි අප්‍රේල් මාසයේ 26 වෙනිදා ගැසට් කරන ලද ගැසට් පත්‍රය අද දින සිට ඉවත් කරගන්න. ඒ අනුව අද දින සිට රසායනික පොහොර, පලිබෝධනාශක සහ දිලීරනාශක ආනයනය කිරීම සඳහා අවස්ථාව ලැබෙනවා. හැබැයි රජයේ ප්‍රතිපත්තියේ කිසිදු වෙනසක් නැහැ. පෞද්ගලික අංශයට රසායනික පොහොර ආනයනය කරලා වෙළඳපොලේ විකුණන්න අවස්ථාව ලැබෙනවා. රජයේ ප්‍රතිපත්තියේ ඒ ආකාරයෙන්ම තියෙනවා. රජයේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය හරිත කෘෂි කර්මාන්තය.
However, at the same time, Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage also added that government subsidies, seeds, guaranteed price for paddy, technology and market are only applicable for green agriculture. Minister Alutgamage added that anyhow the government's policy on green agriculture will not be changed.
රජයේ පොහොර සහනාධාරය, එවැගේම අවශ්‍ය බීජ ලබා දීම, එවැගේම වී සඳහා සහතික මිලක් ලබා දීම, තාක්ෂණය, ඒ සඳහා වෙළඳපොළ ඒ සියල්ල ලබා දෙන්නේ හරිත කෘෂි කර්මාන්තයට. ඒ නිසා රජය ඒ හරිත කෘෂි කර්මාන්තයේ සඳහා සහනාධාර ඇතුළු සියලු දේ ලබා දෙන්න රජය කටයුතු කරනවා. රසායනික පොහොර විවෘත වෙළඳපොලේ අවශ්‍ය පරිදි ලබා ගන්න අවස්ථාව ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. නිසා අපි කියන්න ඕනේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව මුරණ්ඩු ආණ්ඩුවක් නෙවෙයි. මේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය පිළිබඳව හැම කෙනෙක්ම හොඳ කිව්වා. ගොවියොත් කිව්වා කාබනික කෘෂි කර්මාන්තය හොඳයි. දේශපාලන පක්ෂත් කිව්වා කාබනික කෘෂි කර්මාන්තය හොඳයි. නමුත් මේ පිළිබඳව විවිධ අවස්ථාවල ගොවියන් උද්ඝෝෂණ තියලා ඉල්ලීම් කරා රසායනික පොහොරද වෙළඳපොලේ ලැබෙන්න අවශ්‍ය කටයුතු කරන්න කියලා. ඒ අනුව තමයි රජය මේ ගැසට් පත්‍රය ඉවත් කරගන්නේ. නමුත් රජයේ ස්ථාවරයේ කිසිදු වෙනසක් නොකර.
The new Kalani Bridge at Paliagoda in Colombo was declared open today under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The landmark project, which was constructed with the Japanese funds, has been named as Golden Gate Kalani. The 6-lane bridge was constructed with advanced technology from Japan, culminating in several milestones in transport technology in Sri Lanka. It was constructed through a concessionary loan of 35,020 million yen from the Japan International Cooperation Agency. The bridge extends southwards from Colombo-Katunayake Expressway and divides towards Port Access Road, ending at Ingurukade intersection, and Baseline Road, ending at Orugoda-Watta intersection. The bridge itself consists of 2 sections, the extra-dosed bridge section over the river and the steel box girder viaduct section over the existing roadway using the technology for the first time in Sri Lanka. The extra-dosed design enabled the bridge to have the widest span without piers in any bridge in Sri Lanka. After Colombo-Katunayake Expressway was declared open, the number of vehicles entering the city of Colombo on daily basis soared considerably. As the capacity of the existing bridge was inadequate for the larger number of vehicles driving across, preliminary plans for a project to construct a new bridge were drawn up in 2014. The loan from JICA was provided under special terms of economic partnership at interest rates of 0.1% per annum and 0.01% per annum for civil work and consultancy services. The project also includes a 40-year repayment period, including 10 years of grace period. The Highways Ministry and Road Development Authority are the executing and implementing agencies respectively for the project. Stay tuned for more news. We'll be right back after a small commercial break.
SLT Mobitel Home Broadband data balance එක බලා ගන්න extra GB මිලදී ගන්න දුරකථන දෝෂ වාර්තා කරන්න දැන් හරිම ලේසි. My SLT app එක භාවිතා කරන්න නැත්නම් 0112121212 SLT Mobitel ස්වයංක්‍රීය සේවාවට පිවිසෙන්න.
Welcome back to the State of Business. Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Aluthgamage clarified that the controversial fertilizer ship from China will go back and the said transaction will be done after sending new samples later. Minister Aluthgamage also asserted that the issue has not created any issue on the diplomatic relations between the two countries.
With regards to the Chinese fertilizer, now with this Chinese company maintaining their position that the samples, the testing that we have done is wrong, and the Chinese embassy also consistently echoing that sentiment, I was just wondering what Sri Lanka's position is right now. I mean, in the sense, are you all looking at, trying to resolve this issue with China, or is this a closed chapter?
The issue we are having is not with the Chinese government. The issue is with this particular shipment. So they have not taken the license to bring this shipment. So we have very clearly told them to follow the procedure. There is an international tender. We have given them the specifications. They have to follow the specifications. So now we have come to understanding, now they have came to understanding that they will take the ship back and send the samples again, and then we can do the retesting and we can get the shipment. So at the moment there is a court case. So I don't want to give you more comments because there is a court case. We don't have any allegations, we don't have any issues with the Chinese government or this particular company. The problem is only with this particular shipment. There are pathogens in this shipment. So we are not in a position to, according to the Sri Lankan law, we are not in a position to get this.
As approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka and Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Bank of Ceylon has raised 5 billion rupees via a private placement of Basel III compliant. The amount to be raised was 5 billion rupees with an option to issue up to a further 3 billion rupees at the discretion of the bank. Bank of Ceylon has raised 5 billion rupees via a private placement of Basel III compliant, rated, unlisted, unsecured, subordinated, redeemable debenture issue with non-viability write-down features. The amount to be raised was 5 billion rupees with an option to issue up to a further 3 billion rupees at the discretion of the bank. BOC management announced that despite the high volatility in the bond interest rates, the bank received a very positive response for the unlisted debentures. They also added that the investments predominantly for the 5-year category, which carried an attractive interest rate of 6-month gross treasury bill rate plus 2.5% per annum with a flow rate of 9% per annum. The debenture issue was opened on the 16th of November and restricted only to qualified investors. With the third quarter profits of 35.6 billion rupees, the bank decided to close the subscription list on the 19th of November after oversubscription of the initial issue of 5 billion rupees. The debentures were issued with the main objective of strengthening the Tier 2 capital of the bank. The long-term funds raised by this debenture issue will be utilized for financing the priority sector of the economy that is affected by the pandemic. The debentures were rated at AA+ by ICRA Lanka Limited and not listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Among numerous landmark achievements in fundraising, BOC has previously raised 102.56 billion rupees locally by issuing listed and unlisted debentures and perpetual bonds. Fitch Ratings says the proposals to introduce new one-off as well as recurring taxes on companies will likely constrain the near-term profitability of some insurers. The government's 2022 budget presented on 12 November 2021 introduced a 25% one-off tax on companies with a taxable income over 2 billion rupees for the fiscal year ended on the 31st of March 2021. The Fitch says that Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation Limited and potentially National Insurance Trust Fund Board may need to pay the one-off tax as they have larger pre-tax profit bases among Fitch-rated Sri Lankan insurers. Taxable income of the remaining Fitch-rated Sri Lankan insurers will likely fall below the 2 billion rupees threshold. If the authorities decide to use group or consolidated taxable income as the basis to calculate the tax, the taxable income of some insurers that are subsidiaries of larger parent companies could be considered in the calculation of the one-off tax. Nevertheless, in spite of taxation, Fitch also says that the capital positions of most insurers will remain satisfactory as their capital buffers were strengthened, especially helped by the low motor and medical insurance claims following lockdowns and insurance high retention of profits in 2020. Fitch believes that the government's proposed introduction of the 2.5% Social Security contribution on annual turnover exceeding 120 million rupees will narrow the profit margins of insurers in the near term. The Fitch further adds that the burden will gradually be transferred to policyholders through price revisions. It remains unclear if insurers will be liable to pay the value-added tax on financial services, which is subject to a proposed one-time increase to 18% from 15% under the 2022 budget. Most Sri Lankan insurers previously appealed against paying VAT on financial services with the view that the VAT Act does not specify insurance companies as liable. In addition to the tax proposals, the government announced that it plans to impose a fee on vehicles involved in accidents and allowing policyholders to be reimbursed for this fee by insurers. Insurers will likely price the additional risks in their motor insurance policies, although changes to policy terms may be required as penalty charges or fines are generally excluded from the motor insurance policy coverage. Stay tuned for more news. We'll be right back after another commercial break.
අන්තර්ජාලය ෆයිබර් සමගින් බලකැන්වෙන තැන ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි දැන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වේගවත්ම සහ පුළුල්ම ප්‍රීමියම් ෆයිබර් අන්තර්ජාලය SLT Mobitel Fiber දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය.
Connect with SLT Rainbow Pages, your true local surge.
Welcome back to the State of Business. Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 18.54 points to close at 10,910.06, and the S&P SL20 dropped 0.23 points to close at 3,747.30. The turnover was 7.5 billion rupees and over 316 million shares were traded. Coming up next with foreign exchange rates. With that, we wind up today's news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.